podcast, and I am joined by the most patient human being on earth, AD, because I was the real reason why we did not get an episode on Mondays because I was out of town. I'm just gonna be real. I was out of town. We attempted to do so, we attempted to record. Things just didn't work out how they may. And yeah, so but you know what? We still got stuff to talk about. So we're here on a Tuesday. Tuesdays, man, listen, bro. I know, we make Mondays fun. I know Mondays without us make Mondays suck, but Tuesdays are a cool day too. Tuesday is cool.
I ain't gonna hold you. Tuesdays are the days that I need to pick me up at work. So like listening to something like this on a Tuesday would really like help me. I'm about to go back and listen to this the moment that it first comes out, and then after it comes, like, you know what? This week was a good week in manga. You know what I mean? And that might get me through the day. I'll let y'all know.
Yeah, man. Listen, but we're here, man. We are here on a pretty dead week. Yeah. Man, okay, so also we attempted to record this before and we just had some technical difficulties. So this is really recording number 2, and I'm kind of mad because organically the Bible should be turned into a manga conversation started and we lost it. And I want to recreate that magic, but it's hard because it's just like, damn, like that was just a moment in the moment thing. Like niggas just had to be there. But pretty much niggas had to be there, bro. If you wasn't there, you wasn't there. Damn. But pretty much
Easter.
Happy Easter. Pretty much Happy Easter. And from Happy Easter, it turned into, what if niggas turned the Bible into a manga? And then, we gotta think of all the scenarios. Listen, Jesus in the desert. We talking about Jonah getting swallowed by the whale. We talking, Moses
breaking down the 10 Commandments.
Man,
that's your power system right there.
Moses gonna be walking down the mountain looking like Master Roshi when he getting that muscle form.
Oh my god, that's wild. That's wild. All right. I think we got it. I think we got a little bit.
Oh yeah, we back. Hey, listen, we back. Oh my god. Man, listen, I'm all for the Bible being turned into a manga. You gotta see that. Man, when the devil tempts Jesus, that should be heat. Imagine the artwork behind that.
That sounds so blasphemous, but I kind of do want that too.
Listen, man. When Jesus, in the manga form, when Jesus comes back to life, though, he gotta go straight to Judah. You gotta go honk that nigga immediately.
If I was a kid, I would definitely come to Sunday school if they were teaching it like this.
Hell yeah. I was in Sunday school. My ass just isn't in there paying attention.
I was there too.
My ass was not in there paying attention. I was like, all right, when the toys come out, when all the other stuff happen. But yeah, man, listen, we here. Like, we back on Tuesday. Really, the big point of this episode, I'm gonna start like this. We talk a lot about how we are in the golden age of anime. There's so much great anime coming out. There's so great adaptions of some really great manga. However, I think in talking in terms of manga, and more specifically talking in terms of just Shonen Jump in general, Shonen Jump might be, and this may be me overreacting, this may be whatever, but right now I feel that Shonen Jump is in a very odd place, and is going to be in a very odd place in a couple years if something else or another thing doesn't really take off. You get what I'm saying? Like, and that's just kind of the nature of things right now. Of niggas are always searching for the next thing. What is the next thing that we're gonna do? What's the next? And I feel they got a couple, and we're gonna talk about a couple of those on this episode today. But AD, right now, how do you just feel? Not about anime, but manga. In turn, like, how do you feel about the current setting we are in when it comes to manga?
It's very interesting because I think we had this discussion a while back when it came to like the generations of anime and manga, you know. And one of the things that I kind of appreciate now is the level of detail that like mangaka and writers are trying to get to, whether it's the art or like the intricacy of each of the characters, whether it's a more down to earth story with some type of out there twist, you know what I mean? And I think right now in terms of Shonen Jump, I think they're experimenting with a lot of different stuff, like some comedy, some action. They're trying to see what sticks, what doesn't stick, what's the twist that can get readers into the story like within the first few chapters, so then we can actually tell the grander story behind what we're setting out for. You know what I mean? Like we have stuff like Dr. Stone, My Hero, and Black Clover that have come out in like the recent years and expand like up to 300 to 400 chapters. And One Piece is leading the front because it's like 1,000 chapters, and that's like the poster. I think it was like the cover of this week for Shonen Jump, and My Hero and JJK weren't they weren't anywhere to be seen. So that's also another thing that made us have this discussion. So I think in terms of Shonen Jump, we see a lot of these things, but at the same time, even with the stuff that we're experiencing and enjoying now, like even with Demon Slayer, that ended last year and it was like under 200 chapters. Same with The Promised Neverland, and we have a lot of different things that have come out in the last few years that are probably not even going to reach that level. They'll probably get to like maybe 500 chapters at most. You know what I mean? And while we have these things that we can stick on, everybody's also trying to get to the next thing. Like you said, I don't think we're going to see a lot of very lengthy series that reach the heights of maybe like Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Dragon Ball. You know what I mean? We might see those things in spurts. We might see something like Chainsaw Man, where all right, this is part one. Let me take a break right quick. They come back with another like 80, 90 chapters and then tell it like that. It might be something like JoJo's, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I think we're getting to that point where we have these things that we can gravitate towards, but it's different because it used to be that the anime would sell the source material and people could just pick up the manga and the manga could continue spanning chapters and chapters. But now, because like a lot of people got to factor in, oh, we got to actually produce these animes too. Like there's gonna be, you can't order the same studio to do like something for a long range of time, because then you have to go into like budgets for the anime studio, see how long the anime is, how long are you going to contract the studio. You might get something like Attack on Titan where it's animated by someone else for the first 3 seasons, and then you got Mappa, who's been a workhorse for like the last 2 years, pick it up and go crazy with the last season. You know what I mean? You might have something like One Piece that just expands thousands thanks to Toei, and they mainly handle like long running shows. So it's like we're in an interesting place that I think there's a lot of diversity in terms of Shonen Jump, but I don't think we're not gonna reach something like One Piece or Naruto. If we do, that might be something special that a lot of people are going to gravitate towards. But I think right now, like with the lineup in Shonen Jump, it's a great lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do agree with you when you're talking about we're not gonna see many more super duper long running mangas anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, Demon Slayer, Promised Neverland, they definitely showed that. Like even looking back at things at Demon Slayer, which is immensely popular right now and just is legit it's one of the biggest things in the world right now. Even then, I think that when we're talking mangas, I mean there's millions and millions in circulation, but we're just talking mangas right now with even Demon Slayer. I think that is, I don't think Demon Slayer the manga is as popular as Demon Slayer the anime, because if you look at Demon Slayer the manga, I don't think. I mean, you're not gonna really. I don't feel you're gonna see anyone talking about like Demon Slayers in their top 10 mangas all time. I mean, you're gonna get those, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think people are throwing Demon Slayer as like one of the greatest mangas of all time. It just It's a good manga. It's a really good one. It's a great read. But I think that just the story and everything translates so much better into anime.
I think that's also one of those things where it translates, like it's the anime selling the source material, like the original reason why people would go buy manga, like, you know, a long time.
I think Promise Neverland. I mean, obviously because they had that shitty second season, but no. But I think they're kind of the opposite in a way of I think that is a great and amazing manga, and it just so happens that it translated really well into anime. Like, I don't think you know what I'm saying. I think it's, you know what I'm saying. Like, I think Demon Slayer was just a great anime, and then the manga just ended up being good. I think The Promised Neverland's a bit different. My Hero Academia right now is looking like the one that's gonna be the big long running Shonen Jump cornerstone for a bit. I mean, One Piece is still that for Shonen Jump. I think One Piece is really like the OG of the group. It's just been the one that's been running the longest. It's been the one that's still pushing out numbers. It's just a workhorse, you know. It does what it does. Like, you know what you're getting from One Piece. My Hero Academia, it's looking like it's gonna be that one too, another really long running one. Jujutsu Kaisen, bit different because he's like, listen, I'm gonna end this in 2 years. He's definitely giving us a timeline, but like once that goes, and how great it is on all forms, anime and manga, like there's gonna be a big gap left when that is done. I feel like, because even when we're talking about things like Undead Unluck, which is really good, Spy Family, Mashley, which I feel are probably the next three really, you know, three things that Shonen Jump's gonna really push.
And Yozakura. I think they should push Yozakura Family.
Yeah, with me, yeah, definitely Yozakura too. I mean, Yozakura is at 70 something chapters, so it's definitely there. But I feel like those four just have really, really big shoes to fill, and I'm really wondering, I'm like, do any of these, as good as they are, do any of these have the same qualities that Jujutsu Kaisen has, or any of these same qualities that My Hero has, where it can translate great into an anime, and it's also just a great manga that people are reading and talking about every week. Cause even, all right, so we can even talk about the timeline this week. Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero took a break, and I didn't see no manga talk. But that's real. It was shit.
So dead.
It's so dead, and it's real shit of just like, I mean, there's a bunch of different factors that go into it. I mean, and Shonen Jump is reaping the benefits of this now, but it's just like, are they setting something like, what does the future look like for Shonen Jump? Because they're clipping shit constantly.
Yeah. Like they just
Build King.
Build King is getting axed, and Phantom Seer just dropped.
Which is a one that I saw a lot of people really enjoy and really like. I don't know, man. And also, it doesn't help that once again we are in this great age of anime, but all these manga adaptations aren't like easily available.
Yeah.
You know, like you think of something like Fire Force. Is there an app or something like that isn't a, you know, offhand website that you can just go read Fire Force on?
Yeah. I get that sentiment completely. That happens to me all the time, and it's like you want to be able to support the authors and their works too. In that sense, you want to be able to make sure that, hey, all of this stuff is collected in one easily available source, and I could just read it to and from. Like, I'll say this: Shonen Jump has probably the best type of like reading like service for manga fans. Like, Comixology is all right. I just downloaded the Dark Horse comics, and they got Mob Psycho on there. I haven't like fully checked it out. So I might check that out a little bit later. But the Crunchyroll manga app, it's
horrible.
Right.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
Listen,
I tried. I'm a positive person, but nah.
Listen, it's horrible. I've had the Crunchyroll app for a very long time, and I promise you, it just started working again for me. I've had this it just started working again for me like 3 weeks ago. Maybe.
That's
it's
the only
bad.
reason.
It's so bad. It's so bad. But the thing is, they have some solid things on there to read that I would love to talk about. Obviously, they have Attack on Titan, which is something.
That's why I read it on there. I caught up to it. So yeah,
it's something that we're definitely gonna get into on this, not this specific show, but the show as a whole. Obviously they got Eden Zero, which is another good one that I feel that we can get that. But it's just like the app fucking sucks. It sucks, and it's really they don't even have offline reading. I can't even download these chapters. They the app works when it wants to work. It
doesn't do the entire spread when you're trying to flip through pages. You can't do it like a 2-page view to get the full spread. So you're only reading it piecemeal sometimes. That's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it will just randomly just log you out. You know what I'm saying? It's just little things that they do on there where I'm really, really lost. Man, it's hard to search for things. How you search for stuff on here is all types of weird. It's all bad. It's all bad. But these are the things though that we gotta settle for. These are the things that we have to settle for as manga fans. People who really want to read it, and going out and then buying volumes, or you're only reading things by the volumes. People gotta remember that even when volumes come out, they're behind. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're updated, on the latest chapters. So it's all right, then I gotta wait for the volume to come out. Then I gotta wait X amount of months until that comes out. It's just
because they gotta translate it from Japan. Japanese have it four volumes ahead,
and it's very frustrating. I'll say that it's just very frustrating. It is very hard as a fan to have to jump through all these loopholes just to read stuff. I got 78 million apps where I gotta read stuff. I gotta get on Dark Horse, I gotta get on Comixology, then I gotta go jump to Shonen Jump, and then I gotta go, hop on Crunchyroll. I think that we're such a Shonen Jump focused show just for the simple fact that Shonen Jump is the most user friendly app of all of them.
Yeah, that's what makes it crazy, because there's so much more than Shonen Jump.
So much more. So much fucking more. There's so much more than Shonen Jump. And I'm not gonna say that I hate that's all we talk about, but at the same time, I'm like, man, there's so much other stuff I want to get into, but I don't want to get into things where people who are casual fans of the show, or just a casual reader, or someone's just kind of, no, I want to look for something. I don't want to have to do something that's oh yeah, but you gotta
go to this offhand website that might give you a virus on your phone.
It's little stuff like that is just very frustrating. And then also when you get into things like offhand websites, that's a whole battle in itself, because then you gotta know the actual Japanese name of the manga, because they don't have the American name on there, so you gotta type that in.
Some of them be kind of helpful, because they try to do both, where it be in the description, this is the other name by such and such author. There are some that'll do that, and I'm like, all right, what I did, but at the same time, you gotta look for that.
It's really difficult. Sometimes it's really difficult being a manga fan, because it's not anime. You know what I'm saying? Anime that's the big seller right there. That's all this stuff that's in manga actually coming to life and visually, being in motion. This is, being a manga fan is completely different. There's just a different medium in a way that you even have to like digest it and read. Like you gotta read it differently, like all that. Like there's so many different things that go into manga that makes it very like difficult sometimes for for things that aren't easily acceptable or not accept like easy accessible, not acceptable, accessible. Sorry, I can't talk right now.
Nah, but I feel what you're saying. It's like when it comes to all of that, we just want it all easily available, like you said. Like everything that we come to even enjoy in anime as a whole, that we just see like on the daily, or like where we see like some of the flash, like we were saying earlier, like the anime will sell the manga, and if you give us these flashy like spectacular fights and stuff and all of these anime that isn't shown in Jump, and it's like, all right, so can I go get this online? Like all we asking for is just one, whatever publisher it is, whatever if you're Kodansha, Seven Seas, I think Yen Press is the other one, like whatever your publisher is, can you please ask them like to develop an app? Like
no, for real,
that's all we asking. Like that's all we like. We're in this age where like everybody just wants to download something at the push of a button, and now you got the app and everything is like user friendly, readable, in different types of form. That's literally it. That's all we asking for, dog.
That is true though. But I mean, and it goes back though to what you're saying though. The anime really sells the manga. Niggas are always gonna watch the anime first. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why not obviously capitalize on that and then be like, oh, word, like continue to read the manga and have it there for niggas to enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Like instead
there
of
are thousands of anime that are like that, where it's
thousands,
like,
bro.
13 episodes. All right, you gotta go read the manga to go get the rest.
Like it's difficult, but man, we're here though because through all this difficulty, through all this, I'm not gonna say uncertainty, but there has been some uncertain times for some certain mangas. Here, I mean, there's some great ones that were coming up, and some that we have definitely talked about on the show. Obviously, I wouldn't even consider this a new manga anymore. I think it has definitely surpassed that. But Spy Family, that is definitely something that I see that can be that can really turn to something special. I think Spy Family it tells a great story. I think it's wholesome enough. I think it's Spy Family does a lot of things right. It's not something that is so over the top that it makes it really hard for someone to get into. It's not anything that is too, like, I don't feel that it's too shonen-y. I don't feel that it's too slice of lifey. Like I feel that Spy Family is a perfect entryway for anyone to wants to get into manga, because I feel it just does so many different things correctly that you're like, okay, like maybe I do want something with a little bit more action, and you're like, okay, well here are the other ones with a little bit more action, or maybe I do want something that's a little bit more mystery or this and that, or like I think that's what Spy Family does really well. And for those who have not read Spy Family, it follows it's a fake family. You follow this a spy named Lloyd. He goes into another side of the country, and his assignment is to stop this kind of war that's brewing between both sides. And as he's there, he has to blend in with the people, so he gets a fake family, and his daughter that he ends up adopting, she ends up having mind reading powers, and the woman he ends up like fake marrying, she ends up being an assassin on the side. And as intense as that all sounds, it's so lighthearted and it's so funny, and there are very tense moments, and they know when to use those tense moments, when to bring those up and how they use them amazingly. But I think Spy Family really is a great entryway manga for anyone that's really truly trying to get into it.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. It's very funny. It's very lighthearted, especially for like people in an older demographic. Like that's one thing I do appreciate about Shonen Jump, where it's like not only is it trying to redefine what shonen is, it's also like bringing in different aspects from other types of genres as well. Like this is more of like a slice of life action style type of manga, and the story is it has so many lighthearted elements. It has so many like deep, like nuanced characters that you could probably just gravitate to enjoy, whether it's the kids that are at the academy, whether it's Lloyd and his adventures with being a spy and everything that comes with that, and even his wife to an extent. You know, there are so many interesting things about this story and the characters that I think anybody could just fall in love with it. It's a very, very good story, and you it's while it's in a shonen manga, it's really not even shonen, but it's something that I think is a gateway to show, hey, you know, there are so many more things that are out there that wasn't just, you know, blast or anything. Like it's still there in Shonen Jump, but if you want something that's like more grounded, more wholesome, if just something that you feel like could pick you up in the day, if you just read them, like that actually made me kind of laugh. Like I kind of enjoy, like that's how I feel about Spy Family. It's something that like just pulls you in and makes you feel like this is a better day just by whatever the antics that Aya may be having, or whatever that Lloyd gets involved with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even the latest chapter is very intense too. I mean, I think Lloyd's getting closer to your secret.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's getting closer to a secret. Your gotta. Yeah, your gotta. She better tighten up. She better tighten up. Better wear that mask, bro. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I do have a comparison when we get into manga of the month, because I do want to talk about like Yor and Irina from Assassination Classroom, but we'll talk about that when we have the episode.
Yeah, which was supposed to be last Friday, but once again, me going on vacation stopped a lot of things. Nah, but yeah, man, I think Spy Family is another one. What's another new manga right now that you are like really high on?
I tweeted this out like over the weekend, but I just started reading Witch Watch, and that is hands down probably one of the most interesting, funniest. Like it's so good in the sense that it's like you could tell that the writer is a fan of manga. Like there are so many different references that if you're a fan of manga and you're a fan of Shonen Jump manga, and even some other they make some small references outside of Shonen Jump, but like even when you're just a fan of manga in general and Shonen Jump manga, you will see like the references that they make, and it's like I love the story.
And Witch Watch that's another one that, you know, it's fairly new, right?
Yeah, it's probably like 10 chapters in. Like it's really good though. All the chapters are like really, really good. Like it's surprisingly good how all of the chapters are. Like you could tell through each of the storylines, it's really interesting to see how the relationship between the two main characters builds up. Like Morihito, he's because he's an ogre, he's strong, but he doesn't like to show his strength. That's pretty much what it boils down to. Whereas Nico, she is a witch, but she wants to like show off her powers to make new friends because she's moving back home with Nico to go to high school together. And it's kind of funny because his dad moves away. He's the businessman overseas type of dad. So he's like, you know, y'all, I'm gonna leave the house to y'all, you know, protect her with your life, son. You know what I mean? There might be a danger that befalls her, but I'm about to dip out, so I'll see you later. I gotta pay the bills overseas. You know what I mean? I'm about to hang with Daddy. But I mean, like, you see them living together, and the dynamic that they work between is really good. Like Nico kind of like falls in love with him like slightly, but Morihito is more destined to like just he's more focused on just trying to protect her. So he's always doing like small nitpicky things like, you know, maybe you shouldn't try to show your powers. Like, we don't want you to like getting unnecessary attention. He's like doing little things, but they kind of build this dynamic up as they get into high school where it's like, all right, like you can be who you are, and I will accept that because, you know, if it will help you become a stronger person, you know, we can go through that. And they have one of my favorite references is in chapter 3. When you read chapter 3, you're gonna be like, bro, what the hell? Like that is gonna come out of nowhere. Just read Witch Watch. It's one of those ones that I feel like it has some longevity, but in the story itself, I think that it's really lighthearted in the beginning, but if they wanted to take a darker, deeper turn, I could see it happening, and I think it has those legs to do so.
Yeah. No, I mean that's true. I think some of these newer ones, once again, like how you are on how high you are on Witch Watch, that's how high I am on ITLC.
Mhm.
So I think ITLC is just. I think ITLC is amazing. I just like the story that they tell. I like the crime drama. I like the suspense that it gives. I like the I like the uncomfortability of it because they, how gruesome they can get, and even the type of crimes. Like I said, this really reminds you of like Law and Order SVU, and as an SVU fan, like it's something that you just want to keep reading. Like you want to, like, what I'm saying, even as uncomfortable as some of these stories are, some of these things are, you're just like, fuck, I can't put it down. So that's one thing that I just truly enjoy about ITLC, which follows 3 cops. I know it's me liking a cop story, crazy, right? So it follows 3 cops, and these 3 cops, I don't know, one of them, I'm trying to remember her name, Aoi, I think. I can never say her name right. But pretty much she is, she's a new one that comes in. The police force uses her. She kind of has free reign to kind of handle things how she wants to handle them. But she has a very weird method where she kind of falls in love with the perp. And when you first see it, it's like you're kind of like, why is it, like, okay, like, this weird bitch, like, why is she doing this shit? But then but even 10 chapters in, by chapter 7, you really get an understanding, like, oh, okay, like, this is why she's attempting to do this, and like falls in love with them or gives them love. I think that it's cool because they play on this meaning of love, where I think where everyone's head goes straight to romantic love, but you also see that it's not like that, but under every criminal there's something that's like broken them, that to make them like that, and she just tries to find that little part to and wants to like heal that part. So it's not as romantic as as it seems sometimes, and it cool is how they play on that definition of love, and like, what does love, like, how, because at first you're like, ew, like, she wants to love these niggas, but it's like, oh, like,
she's accepting all of them faults, like,
but no, it's a great series. I think so far I'm really enjoying it. There's just a lot of there's a lot of different things that are happening in the stories that it tells, especially when you look at Converse of the other couple main characters who deal with their own personal problems and their own personal faults, and how they got to overcome those to work together as a team. Man, like, I mean, there's just a lot. Sakamoto Days is another really good one that I could see something high happening for. This latest chapter was really good. Something, we've talked about Sakamoto Days for the past like 3 weeks, but pretty much it follows a spy who retires, or not a spy, a hitman that retires, and he just lives his life with his family, and he got a bounty on his head though, so niggas still trying to kill him, so he still got to kind of, he has to border that line of that life of, I don't want to live it, but niggas are coming at my head and trying to kill me, like, I can't just let these niggas kill me. So it's more of a comedy than anything. There's nothing truly serious in it.
It kind of feels like, to me, like a mix between something like Assassination Classroom and Rurouni Kenshin to an extent, like, where it's the comedy aspect, but the main character is somebody who had that past where they found something that they wanted to protect even more than the lifestyle that they used to live. And while it's more grounded in comedy, like, there is a more like wholesome aspect to it, where he's really just trying to protect his family. Like, to me, he's kind of like Lloyd if the series ends. Like post spy family, everybody's happy, they living their own life, and like Lloyd is still trying to be a spy, like not even trying to be a spy, but he falls into those tendencies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to see. One thing I haven't checked out yet is the hard-boiled cop and dolphin. I want to see what the
So
fuck that
I
is.
read that first chapter. It's not bad. It follows. It's kind of funny too. It follows a cop from Tokyo who's self-proclaimed hard boiled, and he gets deported out to like an island off Japan, and he works under a he works under a dolphin cop. Like literally is it's a dolphin inside of a man's body, like with the dolphin head, everything like that, and the little girl is his daughter. It's really funny. I don't I don't take that seriously at all, but it's something. I think it doesn't have a lot of legs, but not like legs in the sense of like something long running like the other shonen stuff, but this is still something I think is surprisingly kind of funny in the first chapter. I read the first chapter passed. You know what I mean? Might check it out a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm here for all the goofy shit. Like, I'll say this: there's a lot of great comedy shit out right now, like a lot of good funny shit. Like, I'm here for all the goofy off the wall stuff that Shonen Jump has to offer. Yeah, man, I don't know. There's this.
I will say I'm whole for I'm still good for Nine Dragons, the baseball. Like
I can't get into it. I can't do Nine Dragons. I don't see it. I don't see it with Nine Dragons.
Bro, I think you're just not seeing it because it's slow in its start. Like they're literally building from the ground up, trying to build a baseball team. Like it starts off with one guy who gets rejected, and his pitcher who gets accepted into the school of their dreams, quote unquote. But he's like, you know what? I'm not finna go to that school. I feel like it would be more fun living a free lifestyle. You know, with you, I see you work hard. You study all of your opponents, and you're a very good catcher. So you're trying to build the best baseball team. And they go off and literally get it out the mud. Go to a rundown school who's trying to return from glory. Like they won a championship like 30 years ago, and they're trying to like come back to it. And so you got this kind of like dynamic between the two players from another school coming together to this new school and building a team with the manager's daughter. I think it's her granddaughter, actually, his granddaughter. But they're just trying to build up a team, and they go out like scouting folks from different schools who are troublemakers, whether they're, cursing out their coaches or somebody who has to quit baseball because they have to help their family out. Like they're going out and recruiting people who just love baseball and just want to keep playing, but whatever circumstances that befall them, they just really can't do it. And I think that's the interesting thing, where we're going to gather all of these type of different cast of characters, and they're going to have to figure out how can we work together as a team, because baseball is a team sport at the end of the day. Like you got to be able to rally, you got to be able to get rallies, make plays when people are in certain positions, when the ball is hit in certain spaces, call plays against each other. So it's like, all right, I recognize the signal, let me go ahead and get off the base. I feel like baseball is one of those untouched, like Ace of Diamond kind of does it really well, but it only does it more in the perspective of a pitcher. And as you get along,
the reason why Ace of Diamond is so good to me is because it is very realistic about kind of how the game of baseball is.
But it's more focused on, like, when you have those main characters, is more focused on their position and how they can help boost the rest of the team. With Nine Dragons, I feel like each character is going to get some type of pivotal moment for each of like their storylines, where they come together, and at the end of the day, it's going to make the team. Like we get Sawamura and Furia, and they already have upperclassmen who are like goated. But with these characters now, they have to build their team. They're basically all freshmen, and they're probably going to go up against like senior players.
Even when they're goated, though, even when they're goated, they still lose. They still get they still go through the. But
I'm saying it's like, but I see what you're saying, but it's just something different. It's starting from two different places. They have someone that they can look towards, while these other kids are like literally trying to figure it out themselves. You know what I mean? And that's why I appreciate Nine Dragons more, because these kids are literally trying to figure it out themselves and trying to work together as a team to like just enjoy baseball. That's it. Like that's why I feel like Nine Dragons has some legs, because it's set further back, and they're trying to push to greater heights.
I mean, like you said, I think that is going to be one where that's going to be one of those ones where you got to kind of let it run. I think what the story that they're trying to tell, if you're not really into the whole, I want to, into the slow grind, the slow burn thing, that's probably your stuff. And I'm be real, my attention span is too short. I have very, 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 very much like shonen attention span, which I feel that things have to move at a certain pace for me to be like, okay, like this is it.
But that's the thing where it's like when you talk about like what could be like the next long running thing, and we had Haikyuu who got legs, but then it like I got into Haikyuu like with the anime, and by the time like I really got into it, the manga was ending. It was like halfway through, close to the end. So it's like I think with this one, it's one of those ones where if you were looking for something like Haikyuu but got too late on the bandwagon, jump on this, especially if you want to get into baseball or want to become a fan of baseball. You know what I mean? I think this is something that when you talk about longevity, this has the potential to be extremely long running.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, it can be. It can't continually to have the weekly readers. I think that's a big thing. Is that I think with these slow burns on, I think people are just like, oh, I want to let it kind of run off a little bit, and then I'll get to it, and then there'd be like 20 chapters, and niggas be like, well, niggas is not reading this.
But that's the problem. Like when it comes to that, where people are just like, I just want to let it build, see where it goes. And then when it gets axed after like 20, 30 chapters, it's like, I knew it wasn't going to last that long. No, they look at the people who are reading it or buying the volumes, and they're like, like, oh, nobody's reading it. Like, yeah, I'm just saying, like, you got to pull readers in the first time. And I think if people just like take the slow burn for what it is, then it'll grow on you. I think that's one of the ones where it can grow you. But that's a lot of
I personally feel that, and I will even throw myself in this group at times. I think that people are not able to immediately envision an anime for the manga, then they get tapped out of it. Because I think that a lot of people read manga for the end of the day to one day see it adapted and see it animated. Like that's a reason why people pick up things.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
I mean, and like manga and anime, they go so hand in hand with each other. So I think that if it's one of those things where people aren't seeing like, yo, this can make that jump, then that's when people lose interest in things. And it's not even a thing where it always even has to be animated, but there is even no feeling of, damn, I would like to see this come alive. I think automatically people are kind of like, they take a step back from something.
I think so. Here's the thing about me, and this is why I started like reading manga. It's like when you talk about like gravitating to like a faster pace of lifestyle or trying to just like consume so much media immediately, I think with manga you can just breeze through a chapter, or you could take your time to read it. You don't have to focus on animation, picking up every aspect of the animation while reading the subtitles, because it's all still right there. You can easily digest everything. There might be some things in the artwork where you're like, all right, that's questionable. Now I would like to see it animated, but you kind of pick up the initial story like right away. And I think with that's why I kind of like started reading manga more, because I can pull all of this information in within like 10 or 15 minutes, whereas an anime episode would be like 20, 24, 25 minutes, however long it'll run. So I think with that, I just think that, with a lot of these slower burns, you just have to like sit there and try to like read it. Like, I mean, if you catch up on all, like, it's so much anime and manga out there, like, and we can only consume so much. There's only so much time in the day, and especially if you already had your heart set on trying to read something else, or you got to get your mind set to like read something new. You know what I mean? Like, I think with a lot of these shorter ones, it will be better to get into them now than so when you become a fan and you're caught up, you see like 200, 300 chapters blow by, and it's like, well, damn, like, where'd the story go? Like, all right, and I know that the anime came out, like 2 seasons came out, but we're already like at chapter 300, and you already done let the story build up. You're already caught up with the story. You're already done let it get some legs. You see where it's going, and like, if you liked what you saw in the beginning and you had an idea of this was going to be heat. I really have to buckle down. Then yeah, you were a fan from day one. You know what I mean? And I think that's where a lot of stuff where we get into consuming the anime and then saying, hey, I gotta go check out the manga, and the manga is, and even like where we start talking about manhwa as well, like they're gonna be 400 or so chapters in if they even make it that far, but you'll have the ones where because people didn't read it earlier, oh well, now it's just like 50 chapters, 80 chapters. The story gets kind of messy in the end, and now we're like, all right, so what happened here? Is there going to be a season 2? Like, did you take a break? I think with all the trappings that we're saying, all the things that we're saying about like reading reading manga and like waiting for the anime to come out, I think that with something like ITLC, Nine Dragons, all of the new stuff in Shonen Jump, we just got to read it. We just got to give it a chance. Like, I know there's only so much that we can read and so much that we can only talk about per episode, but there is so much stuff. There's
so much shit out, and once again, this goes to the conversation we were having at the beginning of the episode. There's so much shit out. There's so much great shit. Like the animes that you guys are loving, and like the manga is just as good, and the story only gets better. It's just hard because this shit is not as easily accessible for, what I'm saying? Like, it's not just there, there's no, and granted, you can go out and you can search for them, like we said.
Yeah.
There are many, 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 many different sites, whatever, online where you can go find these things. But at the same time, if you're talking about just a casual fan, you're just talking about, someone who just, no, I want to get into this. There is not many offerings for that shit. And it sucks because you like, yo, yeah, you should read Fire Force, the manga, but you gotta, you gotta go.
You gotta bite the bullet.
You gotta bite the bullet, go here, there. I mean,
it's so sad where it's like, all right, people get mad when, like, even some anime fans will get upset when you see people talking about the mainstream stuff. Well, it's because it was easier to accessible. Of course it's going to be mainstream. Of course we're going to push that more because we read it. Like, we didn't read this other stuff. Like, we got to hear from the grapevine. Like, oh, I hear this is good. Like, let me peek what's going on. And then it's like, all right, cool. Like, shout out to everybody who put everybody on to like new stuff through like the grapevine. You know what I mean?
I think Kaiju number 8 probably though. I think Kaiju number 8 is really special. I think it's really special. I'm there. I think it's special.
For me, it's like that and World Trigger, but people don't put
World Trigger is also definitely something else that's special. I think as a monthly it's a little different. I think monthlies have it, I'm not gonna say easier, but I digest those much differently than I digest the weeklies.
I think it's sad because World Trigger started off as a weekly, but it had to be pushed because of the author's health. So it's kind of the same boat as Togashi, but it's better because he's actually putting out chapters. So I mean, like,
listen, bro, listen, dog, listen, Togashi a goat though. So man,
he is.
Goats. The goat moves how he want to move. I ain't even mad.
Oh yeah. He gonna he say I'm coming back. He gonna open up a big spot. Shonen Jump gonna open up a big hole. Like, I fill up everything. Dog.
Yeah, then he watch. Anytime Togashi want to come back to the game, he already know.
We opening up all the slots, all the trash. You got take a break this week. We got you.
For real. But yeah, man. I don't know. There was no really premises episode. We was just talking shit, man. Yeah. Just enjoyable conversation, just about manga. We really enjoy this stuff. Like, we wouldn't do this show weekly, obviously, if we didn't. But I think that as fans of the product, as fans of these things, sometimes you also have to be honest with how things are going in the trajectory things are going. And it's like if publishers, all that X, Y, and Z, if they don't kind of come together to find this is, obviously manga is becoming bigger as anime is becoming bigger. How can we stay up to par with anime in terms of servicing our fans, in terms of making things easily accessible, making things easy to find, like all that.
Yeah.
So I think that it is definitely time for that shift to happen. Like, we're there. Anime is way too big, way too mainstream now
Yeah.
for and people hop. I mean, I think Attack on Titan is the perfect example of an anime that I know now so many people who are like, I need to read the manga now. And it
I was
like,
one of them.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like now I know so many people are like, I gotta read the manga now. I gotta finish up the manga. I gotta pick up the manga now. And it sucks because I gotta send people to that weak ass Crunchyroll app just to read it.
I know.
I was just like, oh yeah, go to Crunchyroll, read that shit. Shit whack. But I don't know, man. Hopefully we find something. There's some great new things out there though, especially I mean, obviously more Shonen Jump focus than anything, but some great good things that are coming out that people should check on, and we're gonna continue to find those other hidden gems and continue to find those other little things. We didn't talk about, I mean, we talked about Dead on Luck, another one that's definitely has a, I won't say hot, I don't know, another one that I feel that is definitely on the upward rise.
It's going up. I did check out also Ghost Reaper Girl. That's actually not bad, but it's jarring because you read it like normally.
You read it like a comic, right?
It's so weird, but like I think it's a part of the story of why they're doing it, because it's centered around the girl who came from a TV show called Ghost Reaper Girl, and basically all of her fans are like spirits or demons or whatever. So her biggest fan comes to save her, and he's like, I want to become your familiar, and it kind of becomes like this soul eater kind of thing where he transforms into a scythe and like transforms, like does the magical girl transformation, and she starts killing demons. But then it's like it dives deeper because she's in public. One of the most interesting things about it is that when people do these like spiritual things and come out of the woodworks and they're fighting demons, they're fighting bad guys, they either have to be like the surrounding crowd or the bystanders have to either be dazed or influenced by the demons, or there has to be like a curtain like JJK where nobody from the outside can see it. With this shit, everybody could see her in broad daylight, so she went viral on YouTube, and like people know that she's just like running around just hitting people with a scythe and shit, and everybody's like, if you see this maniac, call the police. So it's one of them things. It's like it's deceptively good. I think it's really interesting. That one might be worth just like keeping an eye on.
No, actually, yeah, definitely. Well, this is gonna wrap up this episode of the Big Eyes Podcast. Thank you guys for just chilling with us on a Tuesday. Some Tuesday, like some relaxing Tuesday conversation. It ain't too much going on. Just relaxing Tuesday conversation.
I might put some jazz music in the background.
Yeah, like this episode. This might have to put. You know what I'm saying? We can put that. What's the YouTube chill anime beat mix, girl?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm gonna fuck around and make her the cover of this episode. You never know. But make sure that you guys subscribe to the Lookout RNC. Make sure you're following at the Lookout RNC on Twitter, Instagram, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you follow and subscribe to RNC Radio Live. Also the same thing. So all social media handles and wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you're following One Mage Academy on Twitter, where you find just AD's posting a bunch of cool shit on there, from gaming to manga, music, all that stuff. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, man. AD, what's the sign off?
Read more manga, watch more anime, drink more water, and live more life. Take care.
This will be now we just need the jazz sax, the jazz flute gotta come in right here. All right, bye.